wind believers, it's Renee, the practical shaman. It's been a little while since we have had a wind clan gathering, so today is a good day because people are talking about the West. And what does that mean when we're talking about the West? Okay, we're in the fall, it's November. It's the end of the year, and we take stock in the harvest that we planted this year. Did we grow corn? Is it fruitful? Was it really a fallow year where there's nothing left in our field and we're turning over the earth so that next year we can grow something? All of these are perfectly great states. And what I mean by that is that I don't put a quantitative value on feelings. Like, I don't think they're good or they're bad or I don't want to have them. Absolutely, I believe we need to embrace all of our feelings because, first of all, this body is your vehicle. This is your vehicle. This is what you come in to have your spiritual experience with, and it gives you all of the insight that you need in order to navigate this plane that we call Earth. And to deny those feelings leads to disease, illnesses of the mind, of the soul, of the spirit. And so it's very, very important to pay attention to how am I feeling? What's going on? And especially in the fall, it's a good time to see how those feelings, thoughts, ideas, spiritual things are sitting in your body. The conversation came up because when I was doing some medicine work a few years ago, what I saw was that there's a hologram out into the world that kind of reflects about illnesses and things or events or successes or books or relationships that are living out here. They're living out in, where's that? They're living out in the ether that you haven't brought them in yet. That's great. But if you think of a hologram and know that whatever's on the outside is also reflected inward, so that as many layers as you go out, you go in. And how do we work with that? I mean, if we're a multi-layer, multi-dimensional being, that can be a challenge. I'm using wind work. And what I've found is that when I call upon these energies of the wind, which have been around for thousands of years, they do the work. All I have to do is show up, remove resistances, and the wind brings right to my attention what needs to be healed next. And is that an overnight process? Absolutely not. I've been doing this work now for over 30 years. The wind work is relatively new, five years maybe, and it's developing, so I think there's way more about this work in those multidimensional of the wind that I have not even begun to grasp because it reveals itself to me as I'm ready to take the next step. What does that mean for you? It means that the biggest thing you have to do when you're facing a challenge in your life is to have patience with the challenge. No challenge has ever been removed by beating it over the head. I can guarantee you that surrender to whatever's going on in your life is key, because in that surrender, there's grace. The winds can get in there and do some unwinding work. That said, you can facilitate your understanding, you can facilitate your grace, and you can facilitate your willingness. I've had clients where I tell them today, all you need to do is pray for the willingness to be willing. Not anything, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to conquer the world and I'm going to do this or that. Those are great, but how far have you gotten on your own power? When you invite something in as powerful as the wind, you can sail to any shore. And first I thought this was a metaphor, and you might be saying, hey, what a great metaphor Renee's come up with. No, these are actual winds of spirit that have been energies that have been on this earth since the dawn of time, since the creation of the earth. If you look back at all the creation stories, it's when the energy of the wind started to move that creation began. Whether it was in an explosion, whether it was in Adam and Eve, whatever your creation myth is that you believe, there was wind. And Holy Spirit's a wind, Ruach is a wind, Nirvana is a wind, all winds. I'm inviting you in right now to test this with me, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to test something in our physical body and see what's going on and see if we can connect the thread of it with the wind to maybe shift it a little bit. Are you with me? Okay. Get yourself comfortable if you like. If you want to be tense, be tense. I suggest you make yourself comfortable and close your eyes. And take 3 deep wind breaths in. And on the first wind breath in, and I'm going to blow the wind whistle, I want you to see that wind coming in, going down through your pelvic and out into the root of the earth. Go down the roots of your legs. The second wind breath in, you're going to connect and you're going to allow the winds of spirit to come in and fill you up and hold it. And then on the third wind breath, you're going to actually see it as a torus coming around you and coming back in through your head and feeling that energy. And then follow me on this guided meditation and let's see if we could begin to open up a pathway for you to remove resistance. So on the first wind breath in, you're going to bring in the wind breath and you're going to count to 10. And as you release it, you're going to send it out through the roots of your feet into the earth. And the second wind breath, you're going to bring in through the top of your head and see that light of spirit filling you up as a wind all the way through your body. And on the third wind breath, you're going to see that light of wind come in through the top of your head, come down through you, and come out your pelvic area and come back up as a torus. And it's going to engulf you in your own wind bubble. And keep your eyes closed. And in that wind bubble, I was seeing these luminescent, rainbow-like fibers, wind fibers, the best I could describe them. And we're going to work with those fibers to move some energy in your body. So think about something that is really disturbing you. Maybe something you didn't finish this year, somebody else, some aggravation. There's plenty of them out there. So just pick one, because you can come back and do this again, but pick one. And then as you think about that, and the one I'm thinking about is, gee, every time I start a video lately, the siren starts. And so where in my body, and ask yourself as you scan from your head to your toes to your head, where is that living in my body? Right away I identified my left shoulder. And I don't want to place judgment on it. I know my left arm is about receiving and all of that, and my shoulder is about carrying the weight. But I don't want to go there. I just want to think about, okay, when I think about the sirens that keep coming by every time I turn on the camera, I get a little twinge here. And since we're working with the west wind today, which is Zephyrus. Zephyrus is a playful wind, but as it brings in the playfulness of, think of the leaves fluttering and dancing, with it and following it is death. The death of the season. We go into the darkness, which we're quickly approaching. And as we move further and further into these dark days ahead, the west wind can be our ally if we move with that darkness into this energetic space and see what magic the darkness holds for us. Okay? So by now you've identified something that's aggravating you, one thing, and you've also decided, when you just checked in, the first place that was living in your body, and it might live in a few places, but let's start with one, because opening one will always open the other ones as you need to. And what we're going to do is we're going to invite the west wind into that place where we're holding this energy in our life. Okay, and we're going to use that as the entranceway into the physical body in order to see where the threads are going. Are you with me? So I'm going to blow the wind whistle. I'm going to invite Zephyrus to come into my arm, and I want to ask Zephyrus to show me where those threads of this aggravation in my arm, I'm not even going to name it, is living. Where is that living? Okay? So you do the same thing with whatever you've identified in your body, and let's see where those threads take us. So I invite you again, if your eyes are open, close them. Focus on that one place in your body where you feel some discomfort, and invite Zephyrus in to see what we can learn. Track down with it. Follow that to the core of where it's living in you. It may even be living beyond this lifetime, so keep following that cord back and see where it takes you. And when you get to the root, and I can see the root here, for me, I'm going to invite Zephyrus to loosen it at the roots and take it away. And when we see it being taken away, seeing it flow out from wherever you were holding it in your body. And sometimes those roots are really tangled. So let the wind dance through those roots and untangle it at the core. And then on the next one, see it untangling and actually going out beyond this universe where it can be sealed. And as the winds of this universe stop, we ask that a doorway is closed so that it's beyond, and we're dancing with the winds in our own universe here. And now I invite you to do another body scan and feel if there's a difference between that and a moment ago. I sense for my own self, and that's the only person I can see right now, is a sense of playfulness and taking myself way too serious, like that when I take out the camera, the rest of the world should stop. And you know, sometimes it's just as silly as that when we're all so very important that, you know, we're the center of our own universes, which we are. However, there's a lot of the rest of the universe revolving around with us, and I just saw that this was an old pattern that I was able to loosen up the roots, and there was many tentacles. So the wind loosened up the roots, and it went through and came out, went up and got sealed. And when I checked back into this shoulder, by golly, I felt spaciousness and silence. And for me, I need spaciousness in order to have some fun, because if I'm so busy in my busyness, you know, creating the winter solstice event, you know, where we're going to have 21 presenters, so that means interviewing them all, the teaching at the school, all of these things, the book launch, all of this busyness needs some expansion, needs some wind around it, needs some spaciousness around it in order for the fun. Because if it's not fun, why are we doing this? This is fun. We're here for fun. And when people were talking on the wall today, I was talking about that one time I went to the star meditation, and it was with Starhawk, and I merged with that star, and it was like I was pulled away from being this star energy to come to this earth. And I really sat with that sadness for a while until I realized my only job here on this earth is to become so happy with my life that I'd be just as happy being a human as I would be a star. And so that was a lofty assignment, and I thought, well, this is fun, and truly today I am as happy as I was when I was a star. And so the good news is the more I remove these resistances, the happier I become. Exercises with your wind whistle absolutely bring you present. If you don't have one, you can get one over on the website, thepracticalshaman.com. Great Christmas presents. All right, it's Renee. I'm signing off. I hope this exercise helped you. If you need to go back to it many times, do that. You're worth it. All right, have a great day.